Okay, all right. Welcome everyone. And today, निखिल भाई तो हैं ही हमारे साथ, omnipresent, but we have one special guest. Uh, मैंने ट्वीट भी किया था एंड जिन लोगों ने देखा पढ़ा वो काफी एक्साइटेड थे इसके लिए. तो कार्तिक, वेलकम हियर.
Thank you for
एंड
inviting me. It's a pleasure to join you guys.
या इट्स आवर प्लेजर एक्चुअली. तो बिफोर लोगों को थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा आने में कमेंट्स में, so just tell us brief about how you manage by following all, because the following mainstream team, I think still it's comparably easy compared to other teams. You get the updates everywhere, so you don't have to put much effort. But how you manage?
I think it's just down to passion. Obviously, I think everyone will support the big teams. Like even amongst India, like there are supporters of England, Australia, and so on. But like usually, I used to watch ICC events, and like I used to not let any match go actually. And as you said, when I used to watch these ICC events or World Cups, like at that time, especially like going back 10, 15 years back, we used to not really get the chance to watch them a lot. Only when ICC event or a big other like in Asia Cup happened, we used to get the chance to watch them. So like I used to always be excited like whether they could pull off an unexpected result. That's how like I used to
So since when, if you can specify
so
it, since which
in
year?
terms of like as a cricket fan, I've been like since 2006, but uh, as an associate fan or like a fan of emerging nations, I think probably since 2012, 2013, that period, I think that's when it
Okay,
started.
so
So
we
like
can relate your uh,
yeah, go on.
with rise of Afghanistan almost on similar page.
Yeah,
They
possibly,
also.
but yeah, possibly, but I used to like just support them at a glance. Like I used to not go in depth at that point.
Hmm.
So I just like as I'll just continuing this thing like that. Whenever an ICC event used to come, I used to like hope that they could pull off an unexpected result, and it used to be for all the associate nations. Like the thing, like it was not an upset or an expected result, but for example, the result between Netherlands and Ireland at the 2014 T20 World Cup, that things are
Yeah,
like really got me excited.
unbelievable.
Yeah, so and thereafter, I think 2014, the Asia Cup. That's when I got really impressed. I had watched Afghanistan previously in the 2012 T20 World Cup and the 2010 T20 World Cup. So those two editions, but it was the 2014 Asia Cup which I thought like they really had potential because the first match itself against Pakistan, they had Pakistan in trouble. Then Umar Akmal scored a century and then the game
Hmm.
went away. But then they went on to beat Bangladesh in that event.
Yep.
So from there on, I think gradually I started following Afghanistan cricket. 2015 World Cup, then uh, 2016 T20 World Cup in India, those tournaments and all. I think at that point, I mean, like, if anyone asks about Afghanistan cricket currently, they'll immediately talk about Afghanistan spinners. But the
Hamid was your first favorite.
yeah, like, I'm saying like the factor that excited me at that point was actually three 140 kph bowlers.
Yep.
At point, Hamid
Zadran.
Hassan, Dawlat Zadran, Shamur Zadran, and like I used to see a lot of tweets from journalists who covered associate cricket, for example. They used to say like if Hamid Hassan wasn't injured, he could have been easily one of the world's best. So
Yep.
that is how I think Hamid Hassan is actually the main reason I started falling in love with Afghanistan cricket. And then, as I said, slowly I think I could see the potential in Afghanistan cricket 2016, and thereafter there's not much IC events, for example, like T20 World Cup was not there for a
Yes.
couple of years. It was only the 2018 Asia Cup. So,
5 years
sorry,
actually.
sorry.
Of that.
So at the 2017 2018 period, I used to scroll scorecards. Like as you said at the beginning, I used to scroll scorecards and check the Challenge League. How Afghanistan came through the system, the division, various divisions. They started from Division 5. So I used to follow all the scorecards, like check who were the performers at that point. Like I used to get surprises by seeing a scorecard between Afghanistan and Canada. It was an intercontinental cup match where Afghanistan had chased 494 in the fourth innings with Mohammad Shahzad scoring a double hundred.
Yep.
So such things fascinated me. And then like going back to the thing about 2017, 2018, like I used to also check Afghanistan domestic scorecards. At that point they hadn't got test status, but they used to still play the Spagisa cricket league. And then
Spanish. Yep.
yeah, and then they used to have a 3-day tournament. It was not a first class championship, but a 3-day tournament. And I speak. So I kind of had a feeling that the Afghanistan national team isn't really portraying the full talent level of Afghanistan cricket, because I used to check the scorecards and the numbers, and then all the national team players also used to play there, but it was actually the domestic players who were excelling. They were the ones who were performing better. So again, this added another layer of fascination for me. How far could Afghanistan go? And then, I mean, we had the disappointment in 2019 World Cup where they lost all the 9 games, and like there's a lot of controversy around that tournament also. But I think recent few years it's been slightly better. I would still not say that it's completely better, but maybe just 5-10% better, and that 5-10% difference itself has shown in the 2023 World Cup, the Champions Trophy, the 2024 T20 World Cup. So it's been a interesting journey. I mean, a lot of frustrations, but I mean, equally good, happy moments also.
No, no, absolutely agree. And the thing which differentiate Afghanistan with other teams, even other associate teams, that the background, like how they manage from actually literally refugee camps, and from as you mentioned, qualifier 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then associate, full member, test, and now competing with all big teams in quite hardly 10, 15 years. And we can see other teams like Bangladesh got all the backings, all the support, even they have passionate fans, everything, but still somehow we cannot say that uh, after close to 25 years still they're not up to the mark. There are some glittering performance but not consistent performance. But the thing with Afghanistan, no team can take them lightly in any format, be it ODIs or T20s. Test obviously they're not getting too much chances. Okay, Nikhil भाई, आपका कुछ आप अपना भी बताइए एक्सपीरियंस. इन्होंने कार्तिक ने तो शेयर कर ही दिया.
नहीं,
आपका तो
see
सारी टीम के साथ
what
रहता,
is
बट या
नहीं, यार वो तो eventually cricket lover है, तो I think we all follow a lot of teams. But how apt it is that हमने कार्तिक को, we asked him about himself, and he still ended up speaking a lot more about Afghanistan than he did about himself. So
yes,
it just tells you why I visualize him when I see Afghanistan cricket, because again, this is a history where some of us have spent so much time on Twitter following so many other games.
yep,
Where if the world is watching some other high profile game on a Sunday, I am watching some other profile, Karthik is watching some other profile, and say somebody like an Azmatullah Umar Zai. I saw him somewhere random in a game, and then my first instinct ever when I see Afghanistan any video is, let's go and check what Karthik has said about it. If he is on the same page, sorted, I am on the right path. Okay, my assumption is on the similar page, because see, this is what you want to see. Eventually, I feel there are too many people who will always tell you the stories of the bigger names, who
yep,
get the limelight, who get the opportunities. But to see somebody like it is very easy to even today say that why is Nabi playing, but somewhere down the line, we all still have that soft spot for him where we feel, let him play with his son. I am okay. I have seen his son play also, and I still feel that he can retire. But it, I think it probably just also explains why Afghanistan has come through so much, and that is what I wanted to ask Karthik. That do you sometimes feel it is that passion and that hunger of that entire system? Because we've seen so many other sides at the same time. You look at Ireland, you look at Ireland probably had missed out on, like, their best batch could not play when they got opportunities, because almost an entire core of Porterfield, Joyce, and everybody else, Rankin eventually had to go to England and come back. But Afghanistan, you always feel that they're always ready, and no matter who they select, because I'm sure we'll get to selection and Karthik will have a rant on how Afghanistan select their players. But do you think that, like, what differentiates the speed at which they have grown? Because I think it is something that's not directly black and white. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think one of the regulars at your podcast, like Dweeply, he
Yeah.
generally tweets one thing that when you have 140 kph bowlers or mystery spinners or leg spinners, you usually have an advantage over your fellow associate nations.
Hmm.
You and that was a major reason for Afghanistan really booming through the system. And like if you look at the off-field scenario, I think if you compare Ireland, Netherlands, etc., they also have the same kind of passion, I feel. But the thing is that thing that differentiates them with Afghanistan is that for these Afghan players, there is nothing other than cricket.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Ireland players, or like not currently, but if you look at 10 years ago, Ireland players used to work outside cricket and then also play cricket. So, and even now, a lot of other nations like Oman, UAE, they all have a full time job to go along with cricket.
Yep.
So it doesn't really allow them to flourish fully. For Afghanistan, they don't have this, like, you can't really say advantage, because like not having a job is also a disadvantage. So that is also there. So but they don't have any other distraction, like negatively or positively, they don't have any distraction, and they can give their everything for cricket. All they do is that they train, like they don't even now they don't get to play a lot of cricket matches at the international level, but they keep training throughout the year. And Afghanistan cricket, except for like 3-4 months where it snows in Kabul, like the other provinces and all, you can play cricket. Like it's not like
Hmm.
England or Australia where it's a summer sport. So again, all these things add up, and they have impacted Afghanistan's growth. So yeah, that is a major thing, I think. Like because we don't have really any other example to cite here, because for example in football you have Syria, for example. They also
Hmm.
have a similar background. They also have troubled history, and they are impressed in football, but in cricket it's just Afghanistan, like if we look at it. So I think those two factors, the fact that had this on when you look at their on-field skills, having attacking enterprise batters. 10 years back, they used to have Mohammad Shahzad, Karim Sadiq, Samila Shinwari, all these guys. They like you knew that they could get all out for 80, but they could still smash uh,
Sixes.
40 ball 80, yeah, sixes.
Yeah.
Like Shahzad was known for those
If they will
helicopters.
score 7 runs, there will be 1 6.
Obviously, yeah. So apart from those enterprising batters, like having those fast bowlers, and then currently the spinners, I think, and then the off field, if you add the off field scenario and all, I think those all factors have added up to their rise, I feel.
Sorry,
Uh,
before you go on, Abhishek bhai,
yeah.
it's very interesting that Karthik, of course, not knowingly, he didn't mention Asghar Afghan. But okay,
Ashgar.
we'll talk about him later because we've had enough conversations on him. But yes,
So
okay, sorry.
since you have mentioned the Samula Shanwari, one comment came from Manjunath sir. He asked that need to know from Karthik about what he thinks about Samula Shanwari and what he's up to these days.
He's still playing domestic cricket. Recently, also he
Oh.
played Spaniza, and even the List A competition. But obviously, I think at this point, Afghanistan have moved on, which is very rare. I mean, when it comes to Afghanistan moving away from seasoned campaigners. But yeah, I think couple of players like Samila Shinwari, Najibullah Zadran, they moved on from them because, like, I think they probably want a mix, and they also have an eye on the future. Probably, I think.
Okay, this is one very interesting question again from Manjunath sir. Would like some background about the refugee camps on the border that have led to the birth of this breed of Afghan cricketers. Actually, there's a very beautiful documentary also available on YouTube.
Out of the
Uh,
ashes.
yeah, a few years back, I have written one thread on guy that Taj Malik,
Yeah, yeah.
and he actually approached me after that. So I think this is already much celebrated. But yeah, we would like to hear your thoughts about it in
So yeah, I
brief.
think you mentioned Taj Malik. He was the founder.
Yep.
So there are all these refugees in Peshawar. because that's where most Afghans are there. Like because of the Taliban when they came in the first train around the early 2000s. So a lot of these Afghan people fled to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, where again it's a Pashtun dominated area, and most of the cricketers from Afghanistan are also Pashtuns. So they all went there, and then again, like when you don't have anything to do, again, like obviously refugees have a hard time in their life. So just as a distraction, I think Taj Malik saw a few people and he got them together. I think some of the early guys were Askaraf Khan, Muhammad Nabi, Hamid Hassan. All these guys, he got them together and then formed a team. I think at the initial stages, actually, cricket didn't get support from the Taliban too.
Yep.
But I think after some time they did gain acceptance and then started playing at the international level. Obviously, in the lower levels of ACC, they started playing there. And Taj Malik was the head coach at that time. Actually, even in that Out of the Ashes documentary, you could see he led the team until 2008, 2009, when he was replaced by Kabir Khan
Yeah.
because the Afghanistan Cricket Board wanted a professional coach.
Professional. Yep.
Yeah, so that's how Taj Malik Alam got these people together, and not just that, he had his own brothers also on the team. A couple of
Mm.
guys like Karim Sadiq, and then
Yeah.
Astigul Labid. So these were all his family members. So, and most of it, like Afghanistan cricket, if you look at their relationship, there are a lot of families.
Yeah.
So that is also a major factor here. So, and even now, like Aftab Alam is another pacer who's from
Hmm.
the same family. And then recently, last year, Ismat Alam made his test debut and has scored a century against Zimbabwe. He is Taj Malik Alam's own son. So
Hmm.
there's a long line of the Alam family who have played. I mean, he again like a lot of other Afghan cricketers or coaches. He also divides opinion of Afghanistan. They all feel like he pushes his family in, but I mean, obviously, I think we'll have to also accept that he had a major role in Afghanistan's growth. Like, no professional background, no facilities, but he got these guys together and then somehow had this belief that they could go through all these leagues. I mean, it's for me, I think as just a fan, it's just daunting to think about moving from Division 5 to Division 1. Like, because even one game could mean the end of your campaign, but they just
Yep.
uh, um, kept going with some confidence and ended
I
up.
mean, you can see the teams which Afghanistan has beaten in those finals. They're nowhere in
Yeah,
the competition now with senior teams. And I
you will
think,
see teams like Japan, Samoa,
yes,
Singapore, all
yes,
these teams.
Japan, Malaysia, Mongolia, these teams. And somehow I think we have mentioned Ashgar Afghan, but one more guy there, I think first played Navroz Mangal. He usually doesn't get talked about much. He also did uh, very much effort from his side to bring teams together and even went too far from his comfort zone to
Yeah,
bring
obviously.
their first team.
So if you look at the Afghanistan cricket team and currently the in terms of dependable batters, you'll immediately think about Ibrahim Zadran.
Yeah.
Even though Navroz Mongol was not that good, but given that it was associate level, he was a kind of a batter who held the innings together, and he was very stylish batter too. Like his
Mm.
cover drives and all used to be very very good, and obviously as he said, like he was also a captain before Nabi took over for the 2015 World Cup, so he had his
Yes.
own time as an Afghan captain, and he was also pretty good. I mean, but again, as time moved on, I think Afghanistan cricket also had to look at fresh talent. But
Yeah.
then I think Navroz Mangal took like when compared to other Afghan cricketers, he took an early retirement and then transformed himself as a coach.
Earlier retirements as per Afghanistan expectation.
Yeah, so he converted himself as a coach. Now he's mostly on tours as a batting coach, or like he looks after the under 19 team or the high performance center. So he's still involved in cricket. I think most of these former cricketers were all involved in cricketers in various capacities. So obviously, yeah, I think he also had a pretty big role in Afghanistan's rise.
So one more quick comment we'll take. then we will go chronological order. That where is Shapur Zadran? Is he around the team? Athar, not Ali Khan has asked this.
Actually, he's not playing currently. I mean, even Daud Chadran is playing in Spagiza, but Shapur Chadran for the last 2-3 years he's not played. So it's probably
I
past
think
time.
these all guys, first crop of fast bowler, Shapur Zadran, Hamid Hassan, they have, I mean, they are very good, but they have very charismatic personality as well. I mean, like a rock star, like how Nikhil Bhai
Yeah,
is looking right now with.
Shapur also had that long hair.
Yes, yes, yeah, and long built up. I mean, any Afghan have built up like a tank. Okay, so another comment. One more comment was there. Yeah,
Manjunath sir is very
this
active
is
on the message.
yes, yes, yes. So there is one comment from Dean ki baatein. So his question, my question, why Afghanistan is so rigid about their game plan? So this we are about to discuss on later stage, but yeah, you can share your
Yeah, so
thoughts.
I think I just feel like there are not a lot of natural captains in Afghanistan. So once the three paces that I mentioned like went away, Afghanistan's plan shifted to spinners. Rashid Khan came on, and then Mujibur Rahman came on. So they because Mujib opened the bowling in under 9 cricket and had a lot of success. So the ACB like an ACB now obviously Askaraf Khan, they thought that they could replicate the same at the international level. So like every match you'll see Mujibur Rahman opening the attack, and after that it just came out as a set pattern for them. You'd see Rashid Khan only coming into the attack after the 20th over,
Yep.
and most of the time they would just go with one pacer. So what they would do is that Rashid Khan will be one of the death bowlers. He'll have at least 4 or 5 overs after the 40th over also in ODI cricket, for example. Same like you can think about how it would work in T20 cricket. It just became comfortable, especially against the associate sides, because they couldn't just handle the spinners. So backlogging them just turned out to be a smart plan. It wasn't as successful against the better nations, but because most of the time they were only playing against associate nations and teams of similar level, they just didn't have any reason to change it. And like even now, if you see like Mujibur Rahman got injured about a year back or
Mm.
18 months back, and at the same time, Allah Ghasanfar came into the scene, and immediately you saw Ghasanfar taking Mujib's role instead of
Yes.
Afghanistan trialing an extra pacer or moving away. So
And they have, I think, three, four. We can count on more than that. Very good spinners on their like Ishwagiza or domestic leagues as well, which is not even in contention of international team. So I think on a spin part they have many results, but on pace bowlers there will be some worry. So there are many comments are coming up. Before that, I'd just like to have some inputs from Nikhil Bhai as well. सो अभी जैसे रिसेंट हम चूंकि एशिया कप चल रहा है और अगला भी वर्ल्ड कप पहला T20 का ही आ रहा है, तो अगर हम T20 की बात करें तो जैसा कार्तिक ने बोला कि डिसअपॉइंटिंग वर्ल्ड कप था 2019 और उसके पहले कोई उनको खेलने को मिला नहीं 5 साल कोई बड़ा इवेंट, बट इस डेकेड में 2020 में उनकी परफॉर्मेंस रही है. अगर हम 2023 के बाद की बात करें तो उन्होंने बस 40% मैचेस लूज किए हैं अपने. आई थिंक 16 मैच दे हैव लॉस्ट एंड 22 और 23 मैचेस दे हैव वन. एंड इसमें भी आप देखो तो पाकिस्तान को हराया उन्होंने लास्ट ईयर सीरीज में शारजाह में. एशियन चैंपियनशिप इवन दो फर्स्ट चॉइस टीम नहीं गई थी, बट एज टॉक गोइंग ऑन कि इंडिया के सेकंड 11 भी काफी बेटर है, तो उसमें वो फाइनल में गए, तो फाइनल में भी हारे नहीं थे, वो मैच आपका वॉश आउट हो गया था. तो पाकिस्तान श्रीलंका को हराया था उन्होंने, तो सिल्वर मेडल जीता था वहां पे. इंडिया को भी उन्होंने पुश किया ही था, सुपर ओवर तक मैच ले गए थे, 200 रन बना दिए थे. फिर श्रीलंका से जो सीरीज वो हारे थे तो उसमें भी एक मैच आए थे वो 4 रन से हारे थे और फिर लास्ट में जीते थे 2-1 से. तो कंटिन्यूअसली वो पुश कर, और बीच में मैंने मिस कर दिया तो सबसे बड़ा उनका 2024 का जो रन था पूरा जिसमें उन्होंने ऑस्ट्रेलिया न्यूजीलैंड को किया, इंग्लैंड को तो खैर वैसे भी धोते ही रहते हो हमेशा. और आई मीन सिंस टुडे दे आर प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट बांग्लादेश, तो ओमकार ने किया भी था ट्वीट कि लास्ट गेम व्हिच दे हैव प्लेड द बेस्ट एवर T20 इंटरनेशनल विद ही हैज वॉच्ड एवरीथिंग इट हैज Trott. तो ये है कि राइज पर हैं, कंट्रोवर्सी परफॉर्मेंस दे रहे हैं, but क्या चीज आपको निखिल भाई की मिसिंग है? जैसे कि ज्यादा रिलायबिलिटी है टॉप ऑर्डर पे, एक सिमिलर टेम्पलेट बन गया है इनका, जैसे कार्तिक ने बात करी बॉलिंग की, बैटिंग में मुझे लगता है कि उनका सिमिलर अप्रोच बन गया है कि टॉप ऑर्डर में से एक दो एंकर करेगा और फिर बाद में 10 ओवर के बाद उमर जई या कोई ऐसे हिट करके, राशिद हिट करके खींच गए तो खींच गए, वरना मतलब अभी जो T20 क्रिकेट बन गई है कि ऑलमोस्ट सारी टीमें चेसिंग प्रीफर करती हैं। अफगानिस्तान ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी आपको ऐसी टीम लगती है कि वो बैटिंग प्रीफर करती है और वो उनका सॉलिड लगता है। तो आपको क्या लगता है अगर इनको अगला वर्ल्ड कप खेलना है इंडिया में 2026 का, इवन दो एशिया में है, बट जैसा पैटर्न चल रहा है वी कैन प्रेडिक्ट दैट इट वुड बी हाई स्कोरिंग गेम्स
मोस्टली हाई स्कोरिंग।
हाँ, तो उसके लिए क्या इनको चेंजेस लाने चाहिए?
बहुत सारे सवाल, विल डील विद ईच वन ऑफ देम सेपरेटली। आई थिंक एक चीज जो एज कार्तिक ऑल्सो सेड काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है नोट करना कि जब कोई नई टीम क्रिकेट में आती है दे ट्राई एंड डू व्हाट इज वर्कड फॉर देम इन देयर सेटअप। तो वो आपको दिखता है कि इफ यू टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ अफगानिस्तान ओडीआई साइड, आई एम श्योर मेरे से ज्यादा नखून कार्तिक ने गवाए हैं एंड ही हैड इनफ टाइम watching Hazmatullah and Rahmat just dot up balls without worrying to rotate or without finding the gaps. But what we have to understand is they are not always doing it by choice. It is just a natural progression of a team, and which is why पहले मैं बहुत चिढ़ता था, and then slowly I came to terms with कि what you have to understand is Afghanistan do not have anything, as he said, it's a 3-day tournament that happens. They don't have anything to fall back on. कि you want to do this, you go back, you try these things, and then you come back, and then you see what happens. Unless you get somebody like a Sadhgul Atal, who I feel, after Ibrahim Zadran, is someone that I'm most excited about. There is, of course, the Rasuli as well, who we have seen कि वो अच्छा कर सकता है, but it is very hard to learn on the go, and which is why मेरे को अफगानिस्तान की journey fascinates a lot because they are always a team that is learning on the go. You take the example of 2023 का the chase that they had. That scoreboard that you see from Trott, okay, 10 overs, that is as clean, simple cricket as cricket can be. Okay, do not overcomplicate. Just think about 10 overs, 50, 20 overs, 100, 150, 200, 250, your chase is done. I think sometimes Afghanistan will also come to a time where okay, they will also want to bowl first, but because they are so comfortable doing this, कि उनको लगता है कि हम, because what ये मेरा मानना है, maybe Karthik can correct me, they have a lot more faith in their bowling to pull things off. They want their batters to just bat without any worry of chasing score. And you understand, this is how cricket naturally progresses for every country. Okay, till 2003, 7, maybe 9, 10, or we always felt, even today, many people will say, in a knockout, bat first. Why? Because it is the age-old criteria of what we have grown up. Get the runs on the board, make the scoreboard pressure work. It gives your bowling margin. Now Afghanistan already have a very good bowling attack. What it does is it ensures कि अगर बैटिंग कितना भी कर ले, even if the batting gets them to 140, you still feel कि if Fazal takes 2-3 early, if Muji can take a catch, sorry, we had to sometime get it out of the system because we will talk about. ठीक है, I'll go back to the catching aspect very soon. Okay, if they do something with the new ball, there is always a chance. We saw that with Hong Kong yesterday. It only needed Nissanka to be out early. If Nissanka was out early, Hong Kong had enough chance to put a lot more pressure on Sri Lanka. Zimbabwe had them 80 all out just a few weeks back.
Yep.
So that is how cricket functions. So for now to the catching part, I say New Zealand beating India 3-0, one of the recent most worst heartbreaks, and it will take me a few years to forget Maxwell versus Afghanistan in Wankhede because I see I'm very neutral. See, of course, I would back a certain team, but since 2018, 2019, I'm happy to watch the game for what it is. That game, I was so sure that this cannot go anywhere. This is done. Azmat has done the job. You have taken the hard stuff. Now it is Maxwell. He will give you chances. He gave you a chance. And then you did not take it. And then he ended up getting injured. Of course, he played one of the best knocks ever in his life.
But वो outlier था ना, तो उस पे अफगान को उतना नहीं.
But my point is, it is an outlier for Australia to have won. But what I still feel what it could have meant for Afghanistan to beat Australia. It would have done something. Sometimes some results, speed up your cricket journey.
Yep.
I till date feel had they won that game, it would have it would have done something. I don't know. I can't quantify.
And I think in couple of months there are two heartbreaks. कुछ महीने पहले एशिया कप में भी सिमिलर उनका हुआ था due to run rate factor. So
exactly. They lost out because of uncontrolled. But यहाँ तो भाई I shudder. I kid you not. मेरे को जब मुझे शॉर्ट फाइन लेग पे दिखता है ना, एकदम दिल धक धक करता है कि भाई प्लीज पकड़ ले, तू प्लीज पकड़ ले. It is that scary memory. But coming back to the topic, I think they are doing fine in terms of getting new resources. Very happy with Sadhgul Atal. Of course, there will be a few players who Karthik will also agree. We don't agree with them playing. But what I think they want to do is उनको ऑप्शन चाहिए. तो वो भी गंभीर साहब की तरह थोड़ा सोच रहे हैं कि एक दो ऑलराउंडर और होना टीम में, जिनको मैं जैसे करीम जन्नत bowled in the first game. He did not have to bowl 1 over. He eventually bowled more than 1 over because they like that idea in their mind. Okay, I want more options around me. And of course, Karim will do the job. He did well against India when he batted at number 3. Sorry, that was Gulbuddin Nair. So
India against the 5 छक्के खा लिए थे ना.
So maybe that is something we can cover up like that with Karim. But he played the IPL. How many Afghanistan cricketers who are not spinners or not can get into an IPL team? So I think it tells you there is talent. What I feel is batting में they will need some more. I would put Azmat at 3 or 4, but I am a minority there. Because even in ODI, I have no problem him batting at 5 because we saw him finish well. काफी matches में हमने देखा है, he was able to finish well, but it may not always happen because I generally feel he's a much better batter coming in probably just at the 5th or the 6th over mark, so that when the spin comes in, he's someone I'm very comfortable. He can tackle anything that is given to him. Which is why I also found Punjab ka usage of Azmat very disappointing. You didn't trust him enough to give him that harder and tougher role. So I think a bit more better usage and some consistency from Gurbaz in T20 format. I think ODI from Gurbaz is
especially in recent games.
So if Gurbaz gets thoda consistent, it will have Ibrahim, because then he will not have the pressure that I have to be the guy who does the job.
And Ibrahim could be there, Nissanka actually.
Quite the name that I had in my mind. If Gurbaz could do Kusal Mendis, I will give you a 1 or 2 knocks every other game. So then it will really ease up, because then Asalanka, you already have Sadhgul Atal who could do the job that an Asalanka is doing. So I think धीरे-धीरे वो टीम बन रही है. I'm not quite sure उनका वनडे का सेटअप में, क्योंकि अब जब हजमत और रहमत निकल जाएंगे, I hope they give enough time to Sadiqullah, Rasul and everyone to get into the game, क्योंकि सीखना बहुत hard है. People are not playing a lot of ODIs. So I think T20 still मुझे hope है, क्योंकि bowling है that can cover up for the batting frailties. So that is where I am.
But bowling पे भी हम आएंगे. Karthik say would like to know what are the fast bowling options. But before that, do you guys agree that in international Afghanistan team they underutilize Rashid Khan batting? Like other franchise teams used him in much better way.
I can go for it. Yeah. So I just a few days ago I tweeted that I still don't get the confidence from Rashid Khan. I mean, obviously he does perform now and then, but at the same time, I think Nikhil Bhai will probably remember. I think the 2021 New Zealand World Cup game. All the there's fun on Twitter actually. Everyone changed their names into Afghan names and all. There's so much fun.
Nazimullah Zadran fan club.
Yeah. So in that game, the last over was bowled by Jimmy Neesham. He bowled 5 or 6 full tosses. Rashid Khan was just one-dimensional, trying to play the helicopter and missed everything. So I think that is my frustration. I mean, I don't disagree that he doesn't have ability. He definitely has ability when he plays proper shots, like how a proper hitter plays. He does strike the ball really well. He strikes huge sixes. We've seen in the BBL, for example, for Adelaide strikers or long on mid wicket, we have seen that. But
in IPL, he had 10 sixes in an inning, I guess.
Yeah. But that game was dead by then. So,
but he still hit. No, even in he's their fastest scorer in last couple of years. Only guy who is close to 140 strike rate, if I'm not wrong.
That's right, but I think again the same thing about consistency. He
Yeah,
gets into this thing of just playing helicopter shots or those even those whips like
now
the
this
whip.
no look shot.
Yeah, the whip that he played against Chris Jordan in that CSK game, or
Yes.
backward point, those type of risky shots, he just gets
Hmm.
into this shell where he thinks he can play only these shots.
Hmm.
It just isn't Rashid Khan thing because again, like Nikhil Bhai was talking about Gurbaz's consistency. So when he came onto the scene in Afghanistan, for example, his name was actually in Afghanistan. His name was Afghan 360. 360 because
Okay.
they compared it with ABD obviously.
Hmm.
Because at that time, what he used to do, like he used to play the reverse sweep, he used to play the scoop, all these shots. Even if you look at his BPL debut in 2019, he would have
Hmm.
played a very innovative innings. He would have scored, I think, a 22 or 23 ball 50 there. A lot of shots behind the wicket. But if you come to 2025, he doesn't really play the scoops or reverse sweeps anymore. And in the recent Tri Series, for example, he became even worse in that regard, as he was just trying to target the mid wicket area again and again. He was missing the ball again and again, but he was not learning at all. Be it
Yeah.
UAE or Pakistan, the opposition didn't matter. All he did was try to slog it over mid wicket when he has all the ability in the world to loft the ball over long off, loft the ball over extra cover. But again, Afghan cricketers tend to get into the shell where they just try to hit the ball with a natural swing, which is obviously mid wicket. That is all hitters do. Like even when we play in gully cricket, our natural swing goes to mid wicket, and that thing I think is a major drawback again for Afghanistan. And same thing with Azmatullah Omarzai also. There's been a lot of talk about Nikhil Bhai was also wanting teams to promote him, batted him at number three, number four, but Afghanistan
Not
did
number three, but four.
yeah, Afghanistan did try that, but he didn't really get good returns. And again, even though it was at a lower level, I saw him batting in, for example, in the Everest Premier League in Nepal or the Spagisa. He used to hit the ball straight. Or even again, same thing as I said about Gurbaz, he used to strike the ball over extra cover beautifully. And that thing I still see when he bats in ODI cricket.
Yeah.
He scored, I think, 80 out of around 60 balls against South Africa in ODI
Yes.
last year
Yes.
at Sharjah. In that game,
Even
he
in
peppered.
Champions Trophy, he played beautifully.
Yeah, yeah. So even that, he played a lot of shots over extra cover. In such scenarios, he is able to really showcase his range. But when he gets into the shell, his shot options get very low. And for example, in the Tri Series, for example, every game he had a drop catch and he still couldn't perform. Every game was trying to slog it over mid wicket. He had a drop catch by Pakistan, by UAE, and even the first game against Hong Kong in this Asia Cup, Hong Kong dropped a catch. So I think that's something that I have a huge concern about because once these Afghan cricketers come to the highest level, I feel that they're laid back. They don't really work on their weaknesses. And again, going to Asmatullah's bowling too, 2 years ago when I saw him in the BPL, Nurul Hassan Sohan gave him the new ball. And he swung the ball beautifully both ways. It was just an amazing thing to watch him in that tournament. He got around 16 wickets. He bowled full or good length in that tournament. But ever since then, the last 2 years, every game, every time he bowls in the power play, even when the ball is swinging a lot, he is bowling short of length short.
Hmm.
So these things I don't know. I wouldn't even blame a coach because once you get to the international level, all like we
Yes.
have
Yes.
seen that all that coaches do is man management.
Yeah.
Like because they assume that players at this highest level they know these basic things. Like
Yeah. Me and
even
Nikhil had discussed same in England tour that after so much experience, if you keep doing same mistakes, then any of coach cannot do anything about
yeah.
it.
So that's what I mean. I just feel that even with franchise cricket exposure, I don't see the kind of changes or the upgradation. I'm sorry. they don't really look back on their weaknesses or the way they have got out or the way they have conceded boundaries. That thing, I think the homework factor is missing here. Um, and I just want to again touch upon Gurbaz for a little bit. So Gurbaz, if you see, I think a lot of his dismissals are actually when he plays aerial shots. You'll see him try to again lift the ball over long on or long off. He'll get caught at mid on. Thing is, I see a lot of other quality world class openers even in T20 cricket or ODI cricket. I see them piercing the field. I see them looking for placement. That again, the balance hasn't really come with Gurbaz. And Gurbaz has been the franchise circuit for around 6 years now. So what more could you like ask for, or like that the improvement factor is definitely missing. And Nikhil Bhai at the beginning told like 3-day tournament. That was actually before they got test status. Now I feel
Now they have their, yeah.
yeah, they have a 4-day
And
tournament.
I think ironically they have, compared to T20 in first class, they have solid names like Bashir Shah and all, which might become good batters in Test cricket.
I'm not sure about it because again the quality won't be that good,
Yes, yes.
and they don't really get a lot of opportunities. And I'll just touch upon another thing that maybe people who don't follow Afghanistan don't know. In Afghanistan's domestic cricket, for example, the first class championship, the gap between every match is 2 days, just 2 days, like which I think is inhuman. So what happens in Afghanistan's domestic tournament is that the most of the players don't get to play all the games, and every team gets to play only 6 matches per season, and they don't even play those 6 matches because they get rotated, especially the fast bowlers. They don't get the chance to play all the games because obviously, as I mentioned, there's a 2-day gap between matches. It's not possible for them to play. And the same thing happens even the Spagiza, you have double letters every day.
Hmm.
Um, like and in the list A competition is slightly better because there are 5 teams and then only one game per day, slightly better. But in Afghanistan domestic cricket, this is again a major problem that they don't really let the youngsters, especially. While I said that most of these players don't get to play all the matches, the senior players still play all the matches. The
Yes,
Abdullah Shahidi, the Ramat Shah, Farid
he's
Malik,
the
all these guys play
top
all the
run
matches.
getter of this last Shahida tournament. Shahidi.
Ashfaq actually does very well in the Spagiza every season.
Yeah,
So these
who
things
should
happen.
not be even in ODI team, but he's doing well in the domestic T20.
Yeah, that is a factor again. So um, I just like they don't really allow players to improve when obviously when you don't have much cricket to play in your domestic cricket, and then on top of that you get rotated a lot, so you don't really get the chance to improve your skills. And another thing is that uh, you guys are talking about Afghanistan's fast bowling depth.
Hmm.
That thing again, I can take Bangladesh for example. In their domestic cricket, they are very hesitant to play leg spinners. Obviously, recently you have seen Rishad Hossain, but in Bangladesh domestic cricket, what the captains think is that
Not recently. Last 20 years, I think, is the only exception.
the captains even in domestic cricket they believe that if they have a left arm spinner, he could give them control, he could give them the economy. So I've seen a lot of leg spinners having actually come onto the scene, and then they actually become part-time spinners or
Hmm.
become batters
Sabir
completely in
Rahman and
Bangladesh. And the same thing happens again in Afghanistan also. They turn towards their leg spinners or their finger spinners. They don't really give their fast bowlers enough opportunities. And again, I'm go back to this thing about being rotated a lot, so they don't really get back-to-back games, 2 or 3 games in succession. You'll need that badly, especially when you don't have a history of fast bowling. I did mention those 3 paces, but after that, it's been a long gap. So
Hmm.
they don't really get this platform to develop their skills on a consistent basis. So there are a lot of things underneath domestic cricket. While I still believe that the quality of cricket, the talent pool is good, the things surrounding them, the, the way these tournaments are organized could definitely improve, which automatically will produce better results also.
But still, if you have to pick couple of names in fast bowling department, what would your choice? Like Navinul
So
Haq is injured
re-
now, so they have. I think Ahmad Zai is kind of he also done pretty good job in
Recently.
Ishtagiza.
So I
Uh,
was just about to mention him. Sorry
yeah.
for cutting you off, but yeah, just about to mention his name, Ahmad Zai. So he was one of the finds of the fast bowling hunt that the ACB conducted.
Mm,
There are around five paces. Apart from Ahmad Zai, there's a guy called Lalbas Senzai. Then
mm,
there's a guy called Samula Sarmas. Then Amanullah Kunari. So they had five fast bowlers from this fast bowling hunt, and they've been getting sparse opportunities, not consistent opportunities, but they've been getting sparse opportunities. And the recent Spagisa 2025 Spagisa, Abdullah got into his team only in the back end of the tournament, but he did extremely well and even took 3 wickets in the final, which Ammo Sharks, the team led by Asmatul Omarzai, they won the trophy. And so, on the basis of that, on the impact of that, Ahmadzai got into the Tri-Series squad that was held before this Asia Cup, and he did play only one game. He looked good in the first 2 overs. He troubled Mohammad Wasim, who's very good. I rate him highly, and he troubled Mohammad Wasim, but the third over went badly for him. He considered around 15, 16 runs, and he didn't get the last over of the innings, which was bowled by Farid Malik. So again, I think, for example, in that scenario, I would have liked the captain to really back him, because that was not a really important game for Afghanistan. They could have given the chance to the youngster to finish his quota. Um, he's coming to the squad now in place of Naveen Ulak, but I really doubt he will play any game in this Asia Cup or even the series that will follow this Asia Cup against Bangladesh, because that series will be held in Sharjah, where
mm.
Afghanistan generally go with four spinners, and the lone pacer will be Fazalhaq Farooqi. So there are pacers again, apart from the ones I mentioned from the fast bowling hunt. There's a guy called Naveed Zadran who did well on his test debut against Sri Lanka. He got a 4 wicket haul,
Yes.
and then he played a couple of test matches, but he's been injured recently. And also the backing from the team has not been there, because immediately after a tough game on a very flat pitch against Zimbabwe last year, they quickly changed the pacers. They changed both the pacers and picked Yamin Ahmadzai and Farid Malik. Thing was that in the first test match, both the teams, Zimbabwe and Afghanistan, scored plenty of runs, 500 plus runs,
600,
Farid,
yes,
yeah,
600
Sri
on.
scored 200. But again, and in the second match, the conditions were much more favorable. They're sporting. I thought like Naveed Zadran could have had a go there, because he has already impressed against both Sri Lanka and Ireland. You got a rare pacer who has done well in Test cricket. I thought it would have been a good opportunity to continue with him. Apart from there is a guy called Bilal Sami. Naveed Zadran and Bilal Sami were two of the pacers who played an important role in Afghanistan reaching the semis of the 2012 Under 19 World Cup.
Mm.
They did very well in the West Indies, but again, thing is that they are very raw. They tend to concede runs, but the only way they will improve if they play more
The
matches.
experience, yeah.
So that thing is missing, and I think hopefully with time, I think Afghanistan realize that, especially with the World Cup in 2027 coming up in South Africa,
South Africa,
can't
yeah.
just go with one seamer there. So they'll
Yes.
have to change their policy. They'll have to open up and change from this policy of opening with a spinner, for example. So hopefully they soon get to know
Yeah,
that
and
difficult in those conditions.
even
Change
with
their
almost 15 years of international experience, I cannot recollect many good performance outside Asia of Afghanistan in any format. Like you mentioned, in 2019 World Cup was disappointing for them. Even 2022 T20 World Cup was kind of disappointing for them, which was in Australia. So their most of the good performance came in Asia only, backed on the spinners and yeah, obviously a couple of like Naminul Haq or Fazal Farooqi. Yeah, one odd thing I have noticed about Afghanistan that they have historical run in 2024 T20 World Cup, and after that, actually every other team has played a lot of T20 international except Afghanistan. Before this tri series of UAE, they have played only three T20 international. After 2024 T20, almost 1.5 years. Only 320, and that too, I think, in December against Zimbabwe or Ireland. So what? Because I'm not aware. It could be a reason of schedule or anything. But do you have any? There was a reason of no games, or what was the reason?
So they did have one series scheduled against Ireland in June, but the Ireland Cricket Board cancelled it due to their own financial constraints. And apart from that,
June 2025, right?
yeah, this year I'm saying.
Yeah, but still it's 12 months. Why they didn't play it after June 2024 till December 2024?
That thing was again it was built up for the Champions Trophy, so they're mostly concentrating on that. And overall
Okay.
itself, Afghanistan, as I said in the beginning, too, they don't really play a lot of international
Mm,
cricket. I mean, I generally see this thing that I kind of, it's a pet peeve for me that a lot of people praise Afghanistan cricketers, saying that they give up franchise cricket and they all are always available for national duty, but I have a disagreement there that Afghanistan themselves don't play international cricket that much. You
yep.
hardly have 2-3 series per year. So, and most of these tournaments, the ACB themselves try to schedule when there are no franchise tournaments. You would
Mm.
have seen maybe Rashid Khan missing the playoffs of maybe a
Yes. Otherwise,
BBL.
there
Those
would be
things
no
might happen,
fan
but
fan following.
yeah, but mostly they don't really play a lot of international cricket. And additionally to that point I said about the Ireland series being cancelled, um, the ACB spokesman also said that they did try to arrange some series, but teams were unwilling to come to like India or Sharjah because of the weather conditions. Usually in the north, in that at that duration of time, you'll have monsoon, and then in the UAE you'll have summer. It's very impossible to play cricket at that point of time in the UAE. So they don't really have any other home venue apart from India and and Sharjah. So there are multiple factors there, and sometimes I think I just feel like there have been a couple of series against Zimbabwe which have been postponed due
Mm.
to like some reasons that they that haven't made public. But I've seen like Zimbabwe fans posting that the ACB stopped responding to the Zimbabwe Cricket Board, trying to
Oh,
um, talk with them, have a relationship, and try to make a schedule. But so there are things that I feel like, I think there is a lot of player power in Afghanistan cricket.
but
I feel.
ironically, Zimbabwe is playing a lot of cricket these days.
Yeah, they do. But like I'm just sticking to Afghanistan and Zimbabwe, and I know that there have been a couple of series which have been cancelled for no reason.
Okay.
I just like going back to that. There's a lot of player power in Afghanistan cricket, and like even around a year back, you would have seen the ACB actually suspending 3 players because they wanted to skip international cricket and play franchise cricket. The suspension was
And
revoked later on,
is
but
this
yeah,
no?
okay.
Yeah, you proceed. No, I
Yeah,
was just
so
going to mention that it could be due to that ECB and Cricket Australia take on their female cricket, Afghanistan female cricket. That could be a
uh,
reason of.
so I think you do have 2 teams not playing Afghanistan cricket, but you still have plenty of other nations. They did have a test match
But they
scheduled
could
against
impact.
Australia.
They could impact other teams' decision as well, no, internally.
No, but they play at other points of time. Uh,
Yeah.
so 2020, I remember Zimbabwe series cancelled, but they did play a couple of series later on against Zimbabwe and
Mhm.
Zimbabwe. So it is not exactly linked to that. Like there are a couple of rumors that even Ireland cancelled the series because of the off-field issues involving women, and the fact that they are not being allowed to study or play cricket. But Ireland journalists actually refuted, saying that it was actually a financial decision that the series got cancelled. So as of now, I don't really see, I think, um, teams really taking up what Australia or
I think
England did. It's just that there's a mix of things, like even fans. I mean, you can't even blame the players in particular, because like I see with a lot of fans from full member nations, even Afghanistan fans think that it is below their stature to play Zimbabwe or UAE, which I don't like in particular. But these things also are there in Afghanistan cricket. So yeah, a mixture of things happen which contribute to Afghanistan really not playing a lot of cricket in at the highest level.
Okay, but ironically, it's UAE only where they got to play recently. That's the reason now this Asia Cup. Yeah, so one quick question, then we'll move to comments because there are a couple of comments piling up. That just name couple of upcoming talents in batting. You named in bowling, now name in batting in T20 prospect.
T20 in the last Pagis I was really impressed because for a couple of years I actually thought Afghanistan's T20 talent pool is really drained, has been drained. Because there are very few players who actually played with intent. A lot of players dotted it up in the power play. They rarely showed intent. But this recent Spagiza, there's a guy called Wafiullah Tarakil
Rasulullah
who was a
Tarakil, yeah.
very enterprising batter. He in Afghanistan he's nicknamed the Afghan Barstow because of his looks. They actually say that he doesn't really look an Afghan like an Afghan, but he has a very good range of shots. He's really good against spin in
155 is
particular.
strike rate. Yes,
Yeah,
Master
so
Job.
he's really good in, against spin in particular. I actually thought he could have been given a go in this try series for the Asia Cup because there are middle order options open for Afghanistan, and he was actually picked in the camp for the try series. And I heard that he had scored 30 of 13 balls in one of the intra squad matches, but he didn't get through to the final squad. So he's one of them. He has some issues against pace bowling, but he's 18 years old, and like there'll be a lot of comments about
18 years
Afghan
on
cricketers and their
paper.
age, but this guy
18 years
actually
on
looks his
paper,
age.
yeah. So
This guy actually
disclaimer
looks
will.
his age.
Okay.
So that is he's one player, and then there is Khalid Taniwal.
Khalid Taniwal, yeah.
Yeah, Khalid Taniwal. So he got a lot of praise because he scored a century. It
Scored a
was his
century in 52
first
balls, yeah.
century of the season, and he after the innings he got a bat from Mohammad Dami, a bat from Gurbaz because when he like that his team was 30 odd for three, chasing 180, but he still batted with intent, showed a lot of flair, and scored 100 to take his team over the line. Apart from that, there is a guy called Nurul Rahman who scored the fastest
Hmm.
century in Spagiza history. Also, he's a wicketkeeper batsman. And then you have a middle order option in Ijaz Ahmedzai. He's actually played previously in the 2022 Under 19 World Cup. He had a terrific innings against Australia. He got a lot of praise, even I think from Ian Bishop and co. He single-handedly scored around 80 to get Afghanistan to a respectable score. And even before that, Under 19 World Cup against India, in an attack that included Rajvardhan Hangargekar, Ravi Kumar, Rajangat
Hmm.
Baba, I think he scored 88 of 60 odd balls. So that was a innings filled with huge sixes. And I see him as a very good middle order option, particularly because I rate him as second best batter against pace bowling in the entirety of Afghanistan after Ramallah Gurbaz. But and in the recent Spagista, there was an instance where his team, led by Rashid Khan, they needed six of the last ball. He hit that six and took his team over the line. But after that match, Rashid Khan in his interview said that hopefully in the next 3 to 4 years, Ijaz Ahmedzai will get a look in, which I thought it's a long time to wait for. Uh, but yeah, these are the talents that I have an eye on currently.
Okay, so I will just quickly read a couple of comments and आप दोनों लोगों को आंसर देना. पहला comment है निखिल भाई से शुरू करेंगे. मैं इसको पिन कर दे रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. You will see the comment. So Rashid 670 wickets, Noor 200 wickets in T20s. How many they will end up on? Prediction, please. मैंने निखिल भाई से prediction के लिए तो भैया
I think Rashid will end up with 1,200 and Noor with 1,000.
1,200.
Oh, very interesting. I don't see Rashid stopping at 1,200, but I actually find it very fascinating that you feel Noor will take so many because I sometimes find Noor, maybe it's again, age is, there's a lot of time for
नहीं,
Noor
but
to
Noor
come. So
future में
I think
T20 games भी बढ़ जाएंगे ना.
हाँ इसीलिए मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि इससे सिर्फ नूर के लिए 1,000 ही
अच्छा.
बोला when you say 1,200 for so it could simply be
नहीं नहीं, मुझे
upwards of
1000 भी बहुत
1,500
होते हैं.
who knows for Noor, but we don't know. So I think Rashid definitely I agree with him, could even touch मस्त अच्छे से 1,200 300 again, Rashid is also a very good example for us to see that he had a purple patch, he had
Then
a
come
low.
came back.
Now he's trying to
Yes.
come back. But I still feel he is not
Yeah.
at his best because that zip is not there. And I've been fortunate enough to have a few conversations with him where when I can see what he's talking about, he's still trying to get it very perfect in terms of not wanting to give the people the length or the time to get under or the length to just pick up. So I still feel easily 1200 to kar hi lega. So I would say Noor wala call that Karthik had. I would put it for Rashid. He'll double this. And Noor, we don't know. The sky could be the limit for Noor if he
एंड
gets
राशिद का मतलब थोड़ा ये
consistent.
भी है ना कि his first half was so phenomenal कि अगर वो compared to other
Yeah.
spinners still he's doing pretty good but
हाँ,
generally
better, of
हमारे
course.
माइंड में यार
बिल्कुल,
पहले
बिल्कुल.
इसने ऐसा कर दिया आई थिंक उसने
पहले
रिसेंट 100 मैचेस कंप्लीट किए तो 100 मैच में उसके 170 ऑड विकेट्स हैं टी20 में ओडीआईज में आप ऐसे रेयरली आई
Yeah.
थिंक एक या दो स्पिनर होंगे सकलैन और जंपा जिनके इतने विकेट्स हैं ओडीआईज में फर्स्ट 100 गेम्स में इसने उसने
बिल्कुल,
टी20 में कर
I think eventually how I feel is Rashid could, I hope it doesn't happen, but Rashid could become what Narayan
हाँ
is today. Not bowling action related this, but just from the point that people will still want to just ensure
निकाल दो
that
ओवर
we'll play him out, though he's still going for a lot of runs in the IPL, which is very, very shocking that people have just started to line him up. But eventually, I feel 20 for 1, 26 for 1 is how he'll eventually end up being the guy that will be happy with control and let Noor and others take wickets around him.
1 second, just excuse me 1 second. I'll just back.
या
One
श्योर
second.
श्योर
Yeah,
श्योर
sure.
हम कमेंट ले लेते हैं
Sure.
निखिल भाई कैन स्टार्ट इंडियन लिंकिन पार्क
भाई ऐसे कमेंट्स करो जिससे मुझे पता चले ये कब मेरे
अच्छा
सब
अभी
सिर के
वही
ऊपर से जा रहा है, पर ठीक है.
अपने जैसे भी लिंकिन पार्क कोई वो है मतलब पार्क नहीं है बच्चों का एक बैंड है
इतना ही पता है मेरे को बस.
तो बैंड है उसमें कोई सिंगर था बड़ा अच्छा सिंगर होगा था चेस्टर बेनिंगटन करके कल से आप एक गिटार के साथ अपना बैठना फिर
Thank guys.
बैट लेके
yeah
नहीं
so
बैठना.
one question for you I will just
Thank
pin
you.
it here again the same guy why it's interesting how Gazanfar being added by erstwhile faster Daulat Ahmad Zai speak on it please
There's not a lot of background. Obviously, I did read the interview on Cricket for yesterday, but
बरगद गोला पड़ी आप
yeah. So Dalat, I would say he's usually been involved in Afghanistan cricket at the like A team level, under 19 level, and like most of the things would have been said by Ghasanfar in that interview itself. 2022 was Bagisa Cricket League, and it was actually the end of the league campaign when Ghasanfar got an opportunity for Nisainak Knights led by Askaraf Khan.
yeah
He just in that match took a 4 wicket haul, and then everyone got to know about him. Like I even read about a few IPL teams being interested to trial him. Um, but yeah, I think about the Dalat Ahmadzai, he's actually not anymore in Afghanistan cricket at a system at the moment. He's coaching in the US at the minor league level. But on the whole, there are a lot of under 19 coaches or A team coaches who like don't have the international recognition or fame, but they've done a lot of good work, especially in picking. Because even if you talk about Rashid Khan, he was like spot picked at an academy and immediately picked. Inzam Mullah was a coach back then. There was an interview that like Askaraf Khan was like hesitant to really play him, but then he saw him bowl in the nets and was stunned by how good he was. So usually a lot of these Afghan talents that come up, they're usually spotted in local T10 tournaments, table cricket, because even Mujibur Rahman used to play table cricket before he came onto the professional scene. And same with like Rashid Khan, Noor Ahmed. These guys used to play a lot of like local cricket in local academies. That's where they got picked from. Because like at that point, especially like now, it is a lot better with Rashid Khan, Mohammad Nabi, and a lot of other guys like international players actually having academies. They have a lot of
yes
academies in Kabul, so there are a lot of facilities that have come up now, but few years back it was all about spotting talent with your own eye. There are not a lot of matches, not a lot of infrastructure. So obviously these guys like Dalit Ahmad Sai, then Rais Ahmad Sai, who is again a former national team captain and currently is the under 19 head coach. So all these guys spot talent a lot. And like for example, Siddiqul Atal, actually I have a story about him. So um, before the 2020 Under 19 World Cup that he played, that was the first instance where Afghan fans themselves got to know about him. He played a very eye-catchy knock against South Africa. It was only a 40-odd knock, but
Mm.
there were some straight drives and lofted off drives that went way beyond the boundary with just pure timing. So before that Under 19 World Cup, Siddiqul Atal actually was failing a lot. Like, and Afghan fans, because including myself, we are just
Don't
wondering
have patience.
yeah, why this guy is being backed, because again we didn't have any visuals back then, like the under
Mm.
19 Asia Cup and all wasn't being streamed
Yeah.
or televised back then. So this guy was failing in all the tournaments he was playing, but suddenly come this major tournament, he made a big impression and then started getting a lot of backing in domestic cricket also. It was not easy for Siddiqul Atal in the beginning. Like he had 2 or 3 years where he was failing in even in domestic cricket. Like until a couple of years back when like he played well in the Spagiza, which was followed by last year's emerging cup. He his if you looked at his T20 stats, like the numbers used to be like his average used to be 12 along with the strike rate of 100, but he got constant backing by coaches in Afghanistan and mainly by Rais Ahmad Zai, who saw his talent. He kept backing despite his failures, and then eventually the success came for them. So all these guys have a very good eye for talent.
Okay. So now we will read the comment and we'll go in rapid fire round because a lot of comments are pending. So who are the upcoming entries that have the card prick seal of approval? I think we have already discussed it unofficially, like batters and bowlers. So we can pass it on. Does Afghanistan have a domestic setup or they totally dependent upon raw talent for Europe? Now, I think yes, they do have a domestic setup, not as full-fledged like uh, other big teams, but yeah, they have.
I'll just touch upon that. So
Yeah.
I already made a small introduction about the domestic system, but at the top level there is list A competition, there's a first class competition, and currently there are two different T20 domestic tournaments. Like this year there was a Wakan National T20 followed by the Spagiza, which has
Ishmael.
been happening for a long time. The Spagiza has like it's been a brand for Afghanistan Cricket Board itself.
What's the
Like
meaning
earlier,
of Ishmael? It sounds like some desha.
yeah, but its meaning is actually six. Shvagisa means
Six.
six in
Okay.
Spashto. So
Okay.
six cricket league. That's what it means.
Very apt. Very apt. If you think about it, it's very apt.
So currently, as I said, there are two domestic tournaments in Afghanistan, but they've also announced that the
I mean, इसको
Afghanistan.
IPL वगैरह में इनको यूज करना चाहिए सिक्स की जगह इश्फगीजा बोलना DLF
So
मैच में इश्फगीजा
going back to the ACB, like have announced for going back for the last 1 year, they've been announcing in batches that the Afghanistan Premier League will come back next year. So that will be another platform maybe for the Afghan domestic talent. Beneath this level, there is also a provincial system where they start from grade 3, grade 2, grade 1. Grade 1, there's a mixture of the players who performed well in grade 3 and grade 2 along with domestic players. So they play 50 over cricket actually with the red ball. So
Oh, great.
and that provincial system doesn't have list A status, but this system is there. And beneath the FC system, there's also a 3-day tournament still happening. It is called the Merve Sneka 3-day championship that is also happening. The only thing that they really lack currently is that they don't have an age group system currently. Like before COVID, I used to like follow scorecards on Cricket for. There used to be an under 16 tournament from where
But it
usually
will be very hard for them to track now because age keep changing.
but they still used to do back then. No? So what's the difficulty now? Either way, and this while it is a common joke, there was a controversy around the age thing also.
It's actually apply your entire subcontinent.
No,
Afghanistan guys actually.
this thing didn't really come out in public. So
Hmm.
2024, the Under 19 World Cup, initially the batch that was supposed to represent the Afghanistan cricket team at the World Cup, they started playing matches against other nations in 2023, in the mid of 2023, around May, June. And there's a few other players who are doing very well, like Numancha Aga, Harun Khan. Harun Khan is again another talent to watch out for. Numancha also. Numancha, he did play the Asia Cup that was there in 2023 Under 19 Asia Cup, and against the Indian seamers, especially, he looked very good against the hardlands. He stood up and pulled the ball over mid wicket, but a couple of these guys, including these two guys, and then a few others like Yama Arab, Kamran Hotak, all these guys, they had multiple passports. So they undercover, the IDC warned them, and the ACB had to remove them. And then the ACB went with a slightly different squad to the Under 19 World Cup. They got knocked out by Nepal. And then for this upcoming Under 19 World Cup, they had to play the qualifiers, where they got through and made it to the World Cup next year. So it is there, but while it is a common joke that they get away, but they were warned. I think maybe you will see some improvement.
या तो आई थिंक निखिल भाई बार बार स्कोर देख रहे हैं, मैं नहीं देख पा रहा हूँ, तो अभी क्या सूरत हालात चल रहे हैं? कमेंट आया अच्छे तरीके से, अफगानिस्तान इज स्ट्रगलिंग टुडे, डोंट थिंक दे आर विनिंग टुडे, तो अभी क्या है?
No, I think as Karthik said, they are going to need a lot of success, and some power hitting will have to be done because they are 50 for 2 after 8 overs.
Okay.
They need 106 of 72 possible, but they'll always I mean Gurbadin Naib has come out at 4.
ठीक है, ये अनुराग भाई का एक सवाल है, तो भाई आप सही करते हैं। With the T20 World Cup in India, how good can Afghanistan be in next edition? They have been on the rise toward steady. So
I think
क्या है?
I think we'll have to also see the fixtures and the groupings. We don't know which group people will be now. Hopefully, very fairly distributed and not pre-decided as they always are. Because if they play enough games in Sri Lanka, I think they'll not mind. I feel there will be some venues where they could just ease into the tournament. But जैसे हमने थोड़ी देर पहले बात करी, I think their batting will have to have some enterprise in terms of, as Karthik said, the lot that has come through. See, we don't see them changing. It's going to be more or less this set of people with a couple of new guys, and who will not even be given the opportunity to bat up top. They'll most likely be coming in at 5 or 6. So I think eventually, so the core eventually will have to be this. Maybe one of these two all-rounders may not be there, and somebody else might be there. But I feel a lot will ride eventually on Gurbaz, Ibrahim. And I think it's also about time that Gurbaz gives it back, because if you've been around the franchise circuit 6-7 years, then it is for a subcontinental team to do well in the subcontinental World Cup, you will need the guys who've been there and have experienced these scenarios.
In 2023 World Cup, these two guys only, Afghanistan team was dependent on them totally. Entire campaign, phenomenal job they have done as an opener. Yeah. Has Fazal Farooqi form tapered off after last T20 World Cup?
Yeah,
but as you mentioned that they haven't played much actually after last T20 World Cup.
But he did play in the IPL where he went wicketless.
So after bowling 18 overs. Memory that I think the
let's just skip.
Campaign.
I think Fazal will also
campaign by 80 overs is played.
But sorry, I just want just on this though. Again, we've had this rants online very often in terms of Fazal is the one. I would not want to call him irritating, but I sometimes find him very frustrating to watch in terms of what is working and what he is trying. And we've seen that at times in very crucial games also in terms of how he starts.
Kind of
first over itself, 2-3 boundaries, next over. So do you think, now you talked about, Azmat having that same problem. You talked about Gurbaz having the same problem. So is there merit in them trying to get more folks like Ajay Jadeja and others who can just give them these small tidbits of advice during the game or during the tournament, not during the game, sorry, during the tournament that, for this tournament, just don't try this. Forget about this. Focus. Of course, you focus on the strength, but do you think there is enough role there for former players to come in and just help them fine tune, because the skills are always there.
I think they could probably, these mentors like Ajay Jadeja could help in keeping the dressing room calm, especially like, for example, I like in the Tri Series final, for example, Siddhi Kulathal in the previous two games against Pakistan, he looked all at ease. He looked comfortable. There is no pressure at all. But come the final, there was a lot of pressure. He looked different. His feet didn't move at all. It was a mixture of both playing against Pakistan, which is a big rivalry for Afghanistan themselves. It was a mixture of that pressure and then the pressure of a final also, which went against him. He looked a completely different player. Maybe in
And we
such
have seen this,
scenarios,
like they're struggling in big games past, like even 2024 semi-final or many crunch games. This kind of pattern that they kind of lack the big match temperament.
I think the 2024 World Cup, I think is a bit unfair because the ICC themselves declared it as an unfair pitch later on. So,
Yeah. But say
anyway,
that
I
you,
think the
it's
condition,
unexpectable on any pitch, 50 all out. It's just
but I think it is
uh,
coming. I think you touched upon the fact that only the openers are actually scoring. So,
yes,
one game, finally, I think they had to go out of form and then that happened. But
mm,
again, like going back to a question about how Afghanistan will fare in the next T20 World Cup,
yeah,
even before in the previous T20 World Cup, I was actually negative going ahead into the tournament. I was actually negative because the form wasn't on their side, and as I said, like the batting was an issue for a long time. It was just dependent on a couple of players, but the conditions suited them.
yeah,
Conditions, especially in Guyana,
mm,
it suited them. I failed to take that into account, but eventually, again, in the semi-final, which was different to their strengths, we saw how it went against Afghanistan. And again, same thing will again could happen in the T20 World Cup in India because I like even at Chepauk because the entire outfield and including the pitch is being relayed. So I'm not sure whether it will be spin friendly. If it is not spin friendly and Afghanistan get to play there, if it is a track where you need 180 par,
mm,
then Afghanistan go out of the picture even before the toss. So that thing is, I mean, they'll have to again change up a few things. There are enough T20s lined up before the T20 World Cup. There is a series against Bangladesh, as I said. Then there is a try series against Sri Lanka and Pakistan in Pakistan, which will again be very good build up for the T20 World Cup because we have usually seen in Pakistan it's been batting friendly conditions. So it is important for them to really make use of those
okay.
conditions. But
Let's
again,
take it in
if you're going to go with,
another way that among Asian teams, apart from India, um, how you would think Afghanistan will do in upcoming T20 World Cup? Better than other Asian teams or not?
I don't have much of. I mean, I've seen a lot of people saying Afghanistan is the second best Asian team. I don't buy into that at all because I know
Why?
that especially in T20s again, T20s they're not been putting up good results. I mean,
So
if you look at
where
the
you would
results,
rank?
even
Third,
again
fourth, where?
fourth or fifth, fourth or
Fifth?
fifth, I definitely feel Sri Lanka are better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
fourth or fifth
acceptable. But
because
fifth, by
I'll
fifth,
touch upon this again.
by default fifth में वो तो
I just feel
पांच तो टीम ही है.
Bangladesh have a very good pace attack now. Bangladesh have very good pace attack. You can't
Yes, yes,
really underestimate
yeah,
them.
yeah. So we have
And,
given many shout outs
and
there
their
in the
batting
back.
is also like, and Bangladesh batting is also like, unlike Afghanistan who have been sticking to the same pattern. I see some change in Bangladesh. I mean, they've been going with Tanzil Hassan, Shamim Hossain. All these guys have got an
But
injection
with
into their batting lineup.
Afghanistan, you
So
can still back them if conditions favor them. With Bangladesh, you don't get that confidence against a good team.
again, like I just don't feel like they'll get enough favorable conditions in India. Maybe if they play in Sri Lanka and especially in Colombo, it could aid
Hmm.
them. I think that I'll agree because again it will replicate the conditions in the Caribbean and Sharjah where they play most of their cricket. So if they get to play a couple of games in Colombo, I think it will go their way. But if they play majority of the games in India, like especially in venues like Kolkata, Wankhede, then I just don't have much optimism in that regard.
No, but in same, I think even Bangladesh doesn't have much firepower. No, if game goes 180, 190 par score, and with Pakistan, the less we talk, the better.
Probably, I think.
So I think Sri Lanka, yeah, Sri Lanka, I think it's a solid shout out that they are pretty much placed at second, but I think Afghanistan is still not, definitely not at fifth. So,
No, sometimes see, I'll conclude in this way. Sometimes when you're too close to the system, you know too many
हाँ
things to
हाँ हाँ
not put it
वो
on
आया
a higher
क्षितिज का कमेंट
pedestal.
कि
So maybe that's why.
Karthik is an Afghan fan,
See,
but he's a
my issues,
pessimist. I think he's a realist.
my major issue is the fact that even now with all the world class spinners that go around like and play various T20 leagues, even with those spinners, they are not really dominating sides below them, be it UAE or Zimbabwe. On several occasions, so in the last 2 years since 2023, Afghanistan have played two series against UAE, and on both occasions, UAE had a very good chance of winning the entire
Yes.
series. Afghanistan ended up winning 2-1, but UAE had a massive chance in both the series. And same with Zimbabwe, who failed to qualify for the T20 World Cup last time. They went down against Uganda, as everyone knows. Even against them, again, Afghanistan struggled and ended up winning on the last ball to seal the series 2-1. So if you're not really dominating the sides below them, I struggle to gain confidence against teams higher up in the rankings.
So this leads to a very important question that even though with all the rise, still the team combination moves usually around 3, 4 or at max 5 usual suspects like Rashid, Nabi, Gurbaz, now Ibrahim Zadran. So if like Naveenul have got injured, the good thing is Rashid keep playing with super fitness. But if let's say before World Cup or any big tournaments, couple of these guys were unavailable, then who will be the backup? Do Afghanistan have? They can put up a solid team without these guys.
Again, I don't think, because for me, I think if I should have confidence regarding the Afghanistan team, they should start giving matches to the backup players, especially in consecutive games like the one I mentioned against UAE, where they failed to really bowl out and even there, he was the only one new to the win frame for the T20 World Cup. Most of the other players have been failing for a long time, and like I am myself a fan of Asmatullah Omarzai, but I don't really feel he in the T20 ball or with the bat, the numbers. So I just feel a lot of players have been given too many opportunities. Omarzai, especially because there is Ishaq Rahimi who's on the bench. Like he's not really had his own set of matches to really prove himself. Even if he's got only one game at the end of a series and then not really playing again the same routine continues. So they're not really that you need to be a consistent team. And like I'll touch upon again another talented player called Nangalia Karate. He did extremely well in the build-up to the Champions Trophy, beat against Ireland or South Africa or Bangladesh. But come the Champions Trophy, he was left out of the team. Afghanistan team switched to Noor Ahmed, who like in the few games that he has played for Afghanistan hadn't really made his mark. And we know about how at this current juncture Noor struggles with his line and length. He's still a work in progress in when it comes to those two things. And when you play ODI cricket, those things get exposed. So they don't really give or give a run of games for players to flourish. And after the Champions Trophy, Nabi also made a U-turn saying that he will still continue to play ODI cricket. When he had before the tournament, he had actually said that Champions Trophy will be the last tournament. But after the Champions Trophy, he made a U-turn,
So there is a
which
one
again begs
question
the
by
question whether
Kshitij that
Karote will get his
nation
chances.
wants to know Nabi kab tak khelega.
He mentioned he's
as
openly mentioned in a cricket interview that he wants to play with his son. I do, like I'm not against the son at all. I feel as a very good talent. We've seen him on the Spakiza also. He scores well. He has a terrific power game. He can hit huge sixes. And like I've gone to that level where I just feel like I want Afghanistan to give him one game. Let
One
Nabi
debut game
retire,
and do the farewell.
and that will be it. Even if Afghanistan doesn't deserve, just give him a game,
Yeah.
and that will ensure that
But
Nabi
with
retires. Because
to,
I
to
just feel like
defense of Nabi, he's still doing decently, given his age and all. He's compared to other guys who are struggling, Nabi is still kind of doing his job.
But I think that is the point that
Yeah.
Karthik is trying to mention, that in trying to give him that assurity, you're not
Yes,
helping somebody
correct,
else
correct.
learn his
And
craft.
I think couple of
one.
more guys like of Kaif Ahmed or Zahir Khan, they are doing phenomenally well across the world, but they didn't get as many chances as Noor or Mujib. कार्तिक there is some network issue. एक सवाल था निखिल भाई, आप बताइए कि thoughts on Jonathan Trott, have they stuck with him for longer period?
नहीं, मैं वही सोच रहा था कि that would be the best question
अच्छा.
to ask Karthik and give it a good wrap up.
हाँ.
Because he's been someone, Trott has been someone who's been very central to their rise in the recent past. So what does he feel, and if he feels कि भाई no enough, let's get somebody else. तो I think Karthik rejoin करेगा. उसके लिए मैं क्वेश्चन संभाल कर रखता हूँ. बाकी इसीलिए मैंने कहा था ना कि अफगानिस्तान पे करना है तो कार्तिक को ही पूछा, हम चुप बैठ सकते हैं.
Are you there?
Even if you can hear us, we are okay. If the camera is not working, we can figure out. We already seen your face now, so there was a good face reveal in which ways.
Karthik?
I think थोड़ा टेक्नोलॉजिकल दिक्कत है. हमने उनसे 1 घंटा मांगा था, अब ज्यादा टाइम ले लिया तो
ये अफगानिस्तान को बंगाल से हो जाता है कई बार. इन 20 वर्ल्ड कप दे गॉट चीपली, बट 24 वाले में तो जीत गए थे जब जरूरी था.
आज भी होपफुली क्लोज.
अब तो थोड़ा मुश्किल हो गया मेरे ख्याल से.
बढ़ते जा रहे.
इतना 10 का रन रेट हो गया.
हाँ, अब वही है, सबको छक्के मारने
10 का रन रेट तो
इजी नहीं मार रहे हैं यहाँ
पे. यूएई में मुश्किल ही है. कार्तिक का गेम 4 विकेट गिर गया. या कार्तिक?
If it's fine if you can just join with the audio, we are fine. We'll anyways,
yeah, we are just almost
we'll
conclude shortly. I think there's only one question that Nikhil bhai want to ask.
Yeah.
Karthik, are you there? He's saying.
Or if you want, you can join from the phone as well.
Pinged me that one thing, the audio is not working.
अच्छा.
Okay, we'll join again.
हाँ तो रुकते हैं हम इतना टाइम रुके, 2 मिनट और रुकने में हमको दिक्कत नहीं.
अच्छा, आपने कर दिया था मुझे. आपका मैसेज अब देखा मैंने व्हाट्सएप पे. हाँ,
मैं वही yes. तो कार्तिक, without wasting any more time, just one final query. Your thoughts on Trott, his role so far, and do you see is there a need to change him, or do you feel he's fine and just needs to fine tune, and then we can run?
On the whole, I don't really feel that changing coach or having a different person really makes that impact in Afghanistan cricket. But I think I have to give credit to Trott also. I mean, especially when it comes to pacing an ODI innings, like that's where Afghanistan have improved. I mean, before his arrival, there used to be a lot of collapses, but since his arrival, I think in that regard, I think Afghanistan have improved a lot. Yeah. But again, on the whole, I just don't feel like they have enough power to dictate things in Afghanistan cricket. In Afghanistan cricket, as I mentioned a lot of times, the players have a lot more authority than even the head coach. So it depends on their own will. I mean, it doesn't matter really who comes in next. I won't mind Trott continuing for the time being also. Like even for the next 3-4 years, I won't mind him continuing. I think he's done a good job. So I think that's where I stand. I mean, because again, if you track your mind back to Phil Simmons, who was once the coach of Afghanistan cricket, like especially during 2019 Cricket World Cup. At the when the tournament was on, he actually told in an interview that once the tournament gets over, he will come out and expose what happens in Afghanistan cricket.
Mm.
So that's the kind of control that coaches have in Afghanistan cricket. So maybe I think I just it's my just my feeling that change of coach won't really have a major impact.
Yeah. But this is a mindset of an Indian fan, no, where they think that एक coach change कर देंगे तो सब कुछ ही बदल जाएगा.
That is too many fish for one day.
I'll just come in here. I think you would have seen there's a lot of things that people don't like, fans don't like, even with Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Their own fans don't
Yes.
agree with what goes on in the domestic cricket or the selections, etc. But I like because I've like seen these various countries at different levels, like not in full depth, but I've watched domestic cricket in all these countries. I just feel like the ACB, the Afghan cricket culture is probably the worst when it comes to really, I think, promoting talent and such. I think it's like a lot of times people say that if a talent comes sub, it is against the system. And I feel that the same applies to Afghanistan also. It is not because of the system, but it is against the system that they have come up.
How
So
ironic है ना that usually the perception है कि Afghanistan keep churning out talents.
yeah, again, I won't disagree with the fact that might continue to churn out talent. Like even recently, Barbados Royals signed Arab Gul Moment because of the Spagiza. They scouted him from the Spagiza and they picked him. But for me, the frustration especially is the fact that when franchise cricket are recognizing Afghan talents, but you are not able to
Yes,
recognize
correct.
it. And this applies especially to, for example, Nikhil Bhai will know that about Azmatul Omarzai. Omarzai actually made his name in franchise cricket before he started
Yes.
becoming picked by Afghanistan. So
Many Afghan guys have developed their game in franchise cricket. The
so
period of 2016 to 2021 where no major tournament happened, this franchise cricket only developed them.
but that should not be happening, right? Because you have
Yes,
your own domestic system. You
correct,
know
correct.
them better than what outsiders know. So for
So
me, that thing is there. I think that you'll have to
yeah,
pick them first. You'll have to recognize them first. I mean, and in recently, I think the ACB have also increased the match fees by a lot, massive amount, and that is one of the major reasons I told you guys about how Mohammad Shahzad, Dawlat Zidran are still playing, because
mm,
the match fees currently is very enticing for Afghan cricketers who don't have anything else to do now.
yeah,
And you take into account the fact that the Afghanistan economy is not really doing well.
yes,
They don't have much else to do. So it is really difficult for youngsters to really peek in, even into the domestic sides. So it is a struggle there. I think so. It needs a systematic change. I mean, people have to realize that. I think we'll have to put the country ahead of yourself and all those things. I mean, might be big words because you'd have seen Afghan players being emotional. I don't really doubt those things and all. They give their 100% on the field, but there are a lot of other things off the field that a lot of people who don't follow Afghanistan cricket don't know.
mm,
So if those obstacles
Fair, fair.
are removed, then I really wouldn't have any complaints. I mean, even if the team fails, even if the team doesn't perform, if the off-field scenario is perfect, even if the team fails, I won't have any complaints. For me, the major complaint is the process. As MS Dhoni famously says, the process isn't really right. The result doesn't matter for me. Just put the process right, and then the result will take care of
so
itself.
then I think, say it good or bad, the thing is that with all these difficulties, still somehow they are producing good results for the fans. So one day when they will fail eventually, then it will be good
Things
for
will
them.
get
Yeah.
better.
Okay, so we will wrap it up now. I think we have crossed, so we have planned for 1 hour, but the thing with these talks that you just cannot restrict them. Yeah.
Can keep
So
going on.
thanks a lot, Karthik, and the comment also provide that great job by you guys. Just like Afghan spin trio, hoping for more flourishment. Yeah. So definitely we will try to uh, add more such episodes. So again, thanks a lot, Karthik, for joining and providing so much insights. And Nikhil bhai, thanks again.
I was just happy to be at the non-striker, and this was not my anything
अरे
to do
नहीं,
with me. So AB asked me, and I told him, if you want to know
Yes.
more about Afghanistan, there is only one person. It is worth the wait, and to me, it was worth the wait for everybody
Yes,
who
yes,
tuned
yes.
in, because passion has to
Correct.
reflect, and it reflects when you follow it. So passionate. So
Yep.
thank you so much, Karthik. Lovely to honest. Firstly, sharing the space with you for the first time, despite knowing you from donkey's years. So always a pleasure, and
Thank you
keep
both.
supporting.